G'day, Steve Morgan here. Australian Bass Tournaments. We have just finished the Humminbird round of the 13Fishing Bass Pro Series here at Lake Glenmaggie. The lake fished awesome this year compared to last year. It was nearly 3 times as many fish yesterday, and today 20 or 30 more fish than last year. Matty Langford, you fished both iterations of this event, and as the winner, I'm pretty sure you like this place now.
Yeah, it's good. Blue Rock was good to me last year, but yeah, Glenmaggie fished way better this year, and it was good to catch some real nice fish here, yeah.
It was a close event in the end. It was only 50 grams basically between you and your good mate Mick Johnson. Mick, of course, won his first event for ABT only a couple of days ago at Blue Rock, and I don't think either of you thought it was going to be that close.
No, it was it was going out this morning. I knew I had to catch at least a couple of good ones, and I did do a sneaky check mid-morning and could see Mick was catching them pretty good. So it's good to see Mick really do well and get a win over at Blue Rock, but it's good to pip him here.
Well, he'd be leading Angler of the Year at the moment, which is something you've had your claws into for the last 3 or 4 years. Looks like you got some competition this year. Yeah,
Mick's a smart bloke, and he's going to be hard to beat this year, I reckon. He's going to be always up there and competitive, but yeah, he's pretty smart. He knows what he's doing, and yeah, he'll be a big competitor.
Take us through your technique for this weekend. You were telling us at the presentation how you were using like a twin live scope setup to target single fish in the basin here. Yep. Take us through it. It's a pretty cool technique. Yeah,
so I sort of, like I was saying, I channeled my Morgo for Barra, but basically I've got a dual setup up the front. So I've got the LVS 34 transducers, but I've got 2 at the front. So I've got one on my electric, and I've got the Mick Johnson live pole. I've got perspective on it. Yep. So perspective I run on the right screen, and on the left screen I run forward mode. So that bite I found in particular out in the middle of the basin, there was no pressure out there whatsoever. And I just found pre-fish day that, I was using the perspective mode to find the single fish. Sometimes they were in pairs, but I'd find them on perspective, I'd electric over to them, and in forward mode I'd be able to pitch a plastic to them in front. And I could see the way that they were reacting to the lure, whether they were going to eat it or not. They would either get a fright or they would dance around the lure. When they started dancing, you knew you were onto something.
Take us through the tackle and the technique that you used, what plastics we're using, and tell us about your favourite mirror rod there. Looks like it's caught a few fish in the years. Yeah,
this is probably one of my oldest millers. Barra made that for me, maybe 10 years ago. It's a Control Freak, Jig Freak UL, and it was purpose built for light soft plastics or vertical grubbing. But yeah, it was one of the first rods he ever made for me. It was a custom, built for Glenbourne, but works perfectly down here. And little 1/4 ounce Bassman jig head. Yep. And a little curl tail grub, and yeah, just would pitch the bait in front of the fish. It's not a super long rod, but it's enough to get that bait out there and get the fish on.
And you were telling me that the fish weren't sitting very deep. They were sitting only 5 or 6 feet down in 30 feet of water. Is that something that a lot of the other competitors didn't cotton onto?
Yeah, I think so. I noticed a lot of the anglers were fishing edges, and with Glenmaggie there's only a select amount of edges that hold fish for a very short time in the morning. So I knew I kind of had to find a backup, and that backup out deep was perfect, because I'd go to the edge, catch my 5, and go out deep and had no pressure out there. And I wasn't catching many fish, but they were all good ones. I got 3 good ones out there yesterday, and 1 good one today that sealed the win for us. So yeah, it was good to do that.
Your campaign this year, you're going to fish obviously all 6 of the ABT rounds?
Yeah, I'll fish all 6. I probably won't do any other tournaments this year because I'm guiding a lot, and I've got a small family back home too. So I'll just do the ABTs. That's where my commitment is, because I want to. I want to give Mick a bit of a run for his money with AOI as well. But
don't just hand it over to him.
I'm not going to give it away. I want to try and hold it if I can. But yeah, that's where my commitment is with tournaments this year, and guiding and family.
Any sponsors you want to thank for helping you out on this trip?
Oh, obviously, I've got a lot of supporters and a lot of sponsors. But yeah, Ken Mills Toyota is a huge sponsor of mine. But without the Garmin LiveScope dual setup today, I just would not have won. I wouldn't have found that stuff out there. Miller Rods, Bassman Spinnerbaits, JML, Buck and Bass. I've got a lot of really good supporters. Railblazer, Rapala, 13Fishing. Who else?
If you get when you're in trouble, you know that.
Sunblessed Sunscreens, Bahio. Just a heap of really great supporters that helps me do this as a living.
Awesome. Well, we've talked to him before after winning events, and he's done it again now. Matty Langford, congratulations. Have a safe trip home.
Thanks, mate.